So this last week, there was a special event at a nearby Ford for the new Ford electric car, which is the Mustang Mach-E. I was able to actually get out to that area and check it out. This is actually going to be a real short video because as much as a hype as there was around it, it was actually really boring. And the people there, unfortunately, didn't really know anything other than what was kind of plastered on their website or like on the brochures. So I could tell you real quick right off the top that it has an estimated 300 miles range. It goes 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. And I forget what the last thing that they were kind of always talking about is, but it really doesn't matter. The car is nice enough. Kind of weird. I don't know if this is the first four-door Mustang. I'm not used to seeing them that way, particularly if all the classic ones that I've seen have always been two doors. Actually, all the new ones that I've ever seen have all been two doors. So, interesting move, doing kind of the Tesla sedan thing, and it's solid. Like, unfortunately, there's just so many things wrong with the event. Like, if you wanted to sit down, you needed to do all this paperwork pretty much, or computer work in order to do it. And I get it, you know, they clean it out after every person touches the car. They have guys walking around with like alcohol cleaner or whatever, some certain type of cleaner and rags to wipe down all the handles and all the surfaces. And it would have been worth doing if they actually let you like drive around in the car, or if they had someone that drove you around in the car. But it literally was just to sit in the car, and you could open the door and get views of the inside, which is kind of what I did in order to see the inside, like the huge screen in the middle and how it has like a 360 cam on it now. I think that's kind of just becoming more of a standard for most cars. And I would say that overall it was like a really interesting looking sedan. But it, without any of the cool like getting into being able to test drive it or anything along those lines. You don't really know if it's an awesome race car because you just don't look at cars like that and see it that way. I mean, I understand that the Tesla Type S or whatever, yeah, the four-door Tesla is like an amazing vehicle. I've been in it, I've driven one, and it's definitely like, you know, it has that pep. It's insane, or whatever that like crazy mode is, but you can't really just tell by looking at the Mustang that it's going to be that same way. Now, the design, the outside of the Mustang, I think looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of like European SUV out of everything, like that design or form factor. I was kind of like, that's like maybe an X6 or something from BMW, or maybe one of the Audis. But it's sleek. The whole front looks good. I do like the front little panel. There's very, very minor differences between each grade of car. I remember looking at it and I'm like, oh, okay, so one of the fronts of the cars has a fake grille in it rather than having a solid plastic piece, which it did give some texture to the car, which made it look nice, which is cool. But other than that, yeah, we were there probably for a half an hour, and I mean, a good chunk of that time was actually looking at other cars at Ford. So, like the Ford Saline, they had a pretty souped up Dodge Challenger on the lot as well, so that was kind of neat to look at, but I digress. Again, it was neat. It was safe, which is cool. People were typically about 6 feet apart. The only guys that probably didn't listen to that rule was like literally the guys that would wipe down the cars. I remember opening a door, looking at the car, and like closing the door because I was wondering if it had soft touch close. And then a guy literally just came up after I closed the door and like started wiping down the car again. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, cool enough. If I would say that it probably would have been better if they also did contact tracing, checking my temperature, and like perhaps providing gloves so that you could touch things. I don't know. You know, it wasn't my event. I didn't run it. It was neat. I'm glad that I was able to see it. But yeah, that's really it for this one. So until the next vid.